but I think I'm really loud. Wow.
Are you kidding me? We're ready to go, huh?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1.
Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. God damn it, what a beautiful day to be alive. Thanksgiving, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get ready to stuff our fucking tits full until we can't breathe. Grab a refreshment, hot cocoa, whatever you're feeling. Let's get fucking serious. Spread the juice. Schmitty's getting higher than a kite again. What's new? Feel that music, get that posture up, and take a good fat breath. Let's open our minds a little bit this Thursday. Thank you very much. Gloria Tells getting us dialed in today. Thanksgiving, we made it to another one. Thank you very much. Going great. Good. Lots of shit to talk about. First of all, everyone on the Timbo Sugar Show and even on this pod asking, what the fuck is that bag he's smoking? This is a vaporizer. It's Stores and Bickle vaporizer. It can vaporize herb. You can vaporize teas. You can vaporize pretty much anything, and it vaporizes it into this beautiful vapor. Right now, I'm going to smoke this CBD weed. I don't know what the fuck that means. I don't know how they take the THC out of weed. You know how, Mariah?
Well, they don't take it out. It's just a strain that is higher in CBD than THC.
So there's THC in this strain.
Probably a very, very, very low dose if it's mostly CBD.
Ah, okay. So we're going to fire up a bag here and get some CBD herbulation straight to the veins. Been doing some streaming. Been enjoying the streaming. I feel bad because a lot of people are on the YouTube and subscribe to the YouTube just for the podcast. And then I don't want to fill their feed up or get their notifications tinging off all the time when I go live gaming. But I think I don't need to overthink it. And people like watching me game and then shooting the shit. But one thing I don't like is when I'm on streaming. And it's an adult stream. And I have it listed as an adult stream. And I see one of my little jiu-jitsu kids in there, about 9-year-old, saying, "Hey, Tim, it's George from jiu-jitsu." And I got my bong in my hand, about to fucking rip it. But then again, I think about it, and it's like, well, it's not for kids. Yeah, it's not for kids. But then it's like, okay, if that kid sees me smoking some marijuana herb, is that any worse than that kid seeing their parent drinking a Budweiser? No. It's not, because alcohol is fucking terrible for you. Abusing marijuana is terrible for you too. But a little bit of marijuana here and there. I mean, if you look up alcohol versus weed, it's not even close. It's not even fucking close. So if you're worried about that, it's like, oh man, they're seeing him. That's his jiu-jitsu professor smoking weed. It's like, you probably drink wine, or you probably drink alcohol, or you probably drank it in front of your child before, which is just as bad. Or worse. I don't know. Either of them. It's like you shouldn't do them until you're older. You shouldn't smoke weed till you're 25, in my opinion. And you shouldn't drink alcohol ever, in my opinion, unless you're getting fucking turned up, you're celebrating once in a while, and accept a little bit of that body toxicity to make some memories and have a good time and loosen up.
Have the parents ever talked to you about it?
No, well, one of the moms was in. It was like, yeah, George showed me the thing, and there's a bong in the background, and I'm like, yeah, it's not made for kids. It's definitely not made for kids. So maybe we restrict that. So they never say anything bad. But then another one of this lady we were at the stem cell place with, she sent me this article talking about this new study that came out about marijuana, and it's interesting because it says, weed smokers are more likely to get lung disease than cigarette smokers, new study finds. And this says, time to put down the green stuff. While some users believe smoking weed is better for you than tobacco, various researchers have found evidence to suggest it is incredibly harmful to your body. The research, which was recently published in Radiology in a Journal of Radiological Society of North America, saw researchers compare chest CT scans from 56 marijuana smokers with those of 57 non-smoking controls and 33 tobacco-only smokers. They found that 3/4 of marijuana smokers had emphysema, a lung disease that causes issues with breathing, including shortness of breath, compared with 67% of the tobacco-only smokers. So I'm always interested in learning this shit because I'm like, if something's terrible for me, then I probably should quit. So I sent this article to my buddy Ryan Sprague, who's a marijuana expert. He studies it for his life. And I said, what are your thoughts on this, Ryan? What do you think about this? And this was his reply.
So the first thing is that 50 out of the 56 people in that study were cigarette smokers. And they compared it to tobacco, but cigarettes are not just tobacco, right? So right here, they're using semantics and saying that tobacco smokers versus cannabis smokers. Now, what they're not saying is that cigarette smokers are actually much different than tobacco users. The Native Americans and indigenous cultures use tobacco that has not been sprayed with glyphosate, that has not had all the challenges with rodenticides, herbicides, fungicides, pesticides put into it. And they also don't talk about the quality of the cannabis whatsoever. They don't talk about how that was grown, whether that was black market or legal market, how people were interacting with it. Was it a joint? Was it a blunt? Was it a dab? If it was a dab, what type of dab? How much were they smoking? There's so many things here that are immediate red flags to me. And that being said, so for me, all the study really shows is that people that interact with cannabis of an unknown amount and unknown origin have a slightly higher risk of lung damage when they're also interacting with cigarettes over people that just interact with cigarettes. Now, this being said, I highly agree with the fact that interacting with cannabis through smoking is not the best method, right? It's not the healthiest method. This is a huge plug for vaporizing cannabis. Now, this is not vaporizing through cartridges. That's a whole nother debacle. But vaporizing through an actual vaporizer like the Volcano or like the Mighty.
Okay, here we go. We'll keep going here.
In addition, the other thing here is that the quality of cannabis truly matters here, right? Like the same thing that happened to tobacco, like I was talking about with indigenous elders using tobacco for thousands of years and now all of a sudden it giving you cancer. The same thing is happening to cannabis right now. So even in the legal market, that's being grown with those chemical salt nutrients and things like this that we do not understand the long-term impact of. And so there's so many things here that point to not being able to necessarily draw a causation from this correlation. That being said, I always recommend doing minimum effective dosing, harm reduction practices, and using methods of ingestion that are healthier, right? Vaporizing for me is my ultimate way of interacting with cannabis. I prefer inhalation methods, but I do not like smoking. And so I hope this answers your question, man. But yeah, let me know if you need anything else. Also happy to hop on tomorrow live if you want me to talk about it. Happy to hop on, dude. So yeah, let me know. Also, my man, I have a small favor to ask of you.
We'll talk about that favor later, but thank you for that, Ryan. There we go. That's it. I mean, that's exactly what I was thinking too. I'm like, these studies, how healthy is this person you're studying? What kind of weed is he smoking? What was his, like, those studies are hard because there's so many fucking variables.
It's not all just black and white.
No.
And just like before, like he was talking about the tobacco industry, if it's just tobacco, that's different. It's all the other stuff that they put in there. And if you're, I think if you're smoking at all and like smoke's going into your lungs, that's probably not good no matter what it is. But the vapor obviously is helpful, but I know like they use a lot of nutrients to try to get as much weed as they can in these big facilities because they have a lot of money in them. They need the money to go out. And there's problems where their weed isn't good or it gets moldy, and that usually all goes to the lab and they salvage it through the lab, and that's what's made cartridges, dabs,
so they
edibles.
They take that trash weed and turn it into something else.
Yes.
And that's the thing about all this weed going legal and stuff. It's like now it's numbers over quality.
Yes.
You just fucking want pounds and pounds and pounds and pounds and pesticides and all this shit. So it's like, I had a podcast with him and it was all about weed in previous shows. So you can listen to that if you want to learn more. He spreads the word good about that. But yeah, he does talk about when you're burning it, you're burning a lot of the benefits away, and it's just not good to just be inhaling that heavy smoke all the time. Thoughts on that, Schmitty?
It's scary.
Yes, it is, bud.
Yeah, it's scary when you think about it, especially when you're someone like me who does it all the time. When you sit and think about what you're doing to yourself.
Yeah. And it's fucking hard too. You've been doing it. You're just in this routine the whole time. Anytime you feel some sort of emotion, you take a rip, cover that emotion up. Take a rip, cover that emotion up. It's going to take a certain level of discipline to even get it under control. Not quit, but get it under control a little bit. And I think when you do get under control a little bit, you'll turn slowly more into a top G. Seriously.
I appreciate that.
What else here? I'm sure a lot of people are stuffing their face heavy. Really stuffing their face. Can barely fucking breathe. So I asked Dan Garner, I said, what's something easy anyone can do, especially athletes, before or after the big stuff? So let's hear what Uncle Dan said. Dan is our nutritionist, has been working with us for years now, and a very smart dude. I've had previous podcasts with him also. We'll see what he says.
What's up, everybody? Big Tim shot me the question of what's the best thing to do before or after a big Thanksgiving feast? Look, I address this with my athletes in two big ways. The first is nutrition. The second is your physical activity. On the nutrition front, I don't want anybody to avoid Thanksgiving. You don't have to avoid it. I want you to have a great time with friends and with family and to enjoy these moments of life that you should enjoy and not be overly strict during. But there is such a thing as overdoing it. So what I like to tell my athletes is pick your battles. You can either A, snack throughout the day, or B, have a feast at night. Where athletes run into major bloating and potential fat storage is when they combine those two. And especially during the 6 weeks from Thanksgiving to Christmas, or Thanksgiving and New Year's even, people combine snacking and feasting, and that's where you run into some weight problems. But if you snack throughout the day and then have a reasonable dinner, it'll balance itself out. If you eat really well throughout the day, but then have a feast at night, it really helps balance it out. But pick your battles. Choose one of these and rock and roll with it. That's how I approach the nutrition. From a training perspective, weight lift. All right? And primarily, in an optimal scenario, you would weight lift within an hour of your Thanksgiving meal. I know that's probably not ideal. Some people are probably going to train a lot earlier that day, but the answer is still weight lift. That is what's going to create a lot of things to happen inside the body to preferentially utilize those carbohydrates to be stored as lean tissue in the form of glycogen, and also just create a greater repair demand. So if you do some light cardio, yeah, it's going to be good for the metabolic rate, but it's not going to be good for the metabolic rate once you stop doing cardio. Whereas with weightlifting, your metabolism stays elevated for 24, even 36 hours after training. Why? Because repairing takes energy. That repair process also burns calories in a way that cardio simply does not. So, long story short, pick your battles, either snack or feast, and when it comes to your training, weight lift, get it done, enjoy yourself, happy holidays.
Thank you very much for that, Dan. You can check out Dan on Dan Garner Nutrition, at Dan Garner Nutrition on Instagram. That's good, though. I mean, even if you don't have time to get some weightlifting in, maybe you can get some push-ups, maybe you can get some stuff going on. That makes sense. It makes sense. And not just stuffing all day. Oh, it's the holidays. I'm going to fucking wake up and eat pumpkin pie. Hour later, I'm going to eat this. I'm going to eat this. And just getting fat and just slobby. Because there's an excuse for it, the holidays. It's good advice.
Yeah, well, usually we stuff our faces so much, like it's bad. But we try to also make everything with organic, good ingredients. And we'll do it a little bit earlier in the day to where we kind of don't eat all morning and then do the holidays early.
I mean, it's easy at Thanksgiving. You got all these fucking dishes, all these dishes you're not used to, and it's just salty and good, and then you get high, so it shuts off your stomach, so you don't even know how full you are, and you just stuff to the fucking gills.
Then you have your pies and shit. This year I'm motivated, though, because I'm not with my family, so we're not having a regular Thanksgiving. So, and I'm using that, like, I'm just going to keep it like a regular day, keep moving on. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, instead of just stuffing.
Yep.
Because usually before in the past, would you just stuff to the gills?
Not stuff. I would eat a good amount, though, but I would never go, like, overboard.
See, I would a lot of times eat till I'm having a tough time breathing.
I was like that when I was younger. You know, I'd have competitions with my friends or family. Oh, you're going to go back for thirds? I'm going back for fourths, bitch.
That's Tim.
Yeah, I used to be like that.
It used to be more.
Yeah, he's gotten much better about that. Well, and then, like, yeah, when you're high, too, you don't know when to stop. I remember, like, getting so full and just laying on the couch, like, in pain once my high wore off.
Yep.
Oh, my God. Or that one time, we just ate pie, and then you guys told me to go smoke. and you didn't tell me when to stop, and I took this huge rip, and I was coughing so bad, and I threw up all the pot. And I was like crying and so embarrassed, and my brother and sister were like, "You're fine."
10 minutes later, she's smiling and eating more pie.
He's bringing me more pie.
Oh, that's a fucked up night.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks for that advice, Dan. Thanks for that advice, Ryan. Just got done at the new gym putting down the mats. People don't realize you think you get a space and you just get zebra mats and put them together and they all fit together easy. It's like, that's not the fucking case, dude. Unless you have someone really smart or someone really, really good at Tetris, you're not going to be able to put those fucking mats down. But my buddy Sebastian, he helps me he's a contractor and he helps me fit the mats. So all the mats are down, the boxing ring's down, the flooding is taken care of, and this place is on its way to looking fucking sweet.
It already looks so much better.
Yeah. I've been reading, what I've been reading lately is this book called Discipline is Destiny by Ryan Holiday. He's got a series of books. He has Ego as the Enemy, Obstacles the Way, and now this Stillness is Key, and now this Discipline is Destiny. These are short, easy reads, especially if you're a young buck, you're not sure kind of what route you want to go. You pick up that, you start getting those kind of thoughts going through your head at an early age, it's going to benefit you. I mean, really, without fucking some sort of discipline, you're just not going to be able to do anything in life, anything special. Without some at all, even confidence with the chicks, it comes from being fucking disciplined. But this book is good and it's an easy read. So go if you're looking for something to read or a gift to get someone, that's not a bad book.
I think that everybody like has that voice in their head that tries to like talk you out of doing something. Like yesterday, I didn't want to work out. It's not like you want to go do it every day, but once you push back past that, you're never gonna regret it. You'll regret not working out. But
yeah, it's almost that decision that's going through your head when you're sitting there debate, go work out or go do something that you don't want to do, or you got to wake up early. It's like right there, you got to tell yourself, this is why. Like this morning, I'm like, when we had to wake up early, come start working on the jet, I'm like, this is why we're fucking going to be, this is why we're financially free, pretty much, is because making just decisions like this that are uncomfortable.
Yeah, not negotiating with yourself, because it's easy to be like, oh, well, I'll do it actually later, and then you don't do it. Or I'll do it tomorrow, or no, today you just make up excuses and then you don't do it. And I think that's an easy habit to get into. Yeah,
this book called The War of Art by Stephen Pressfield, it talks about that too, and it talks about resistance and stuff. When do you think, Schmitty, do you ever talk yourself out of shit? Or Jay, do you guys ever talk yourself out of shit, kind of give into that inner bitch? Or are you good at countering it? Because I feel like once you get good at something, once you get good or you're successful in a business here, or you get a black belt in jiu-jitsu or a purple belt or jiu-jitsu, you're like, oh, okay. Now I kind of understand what type of discipline and what it takes to get something that's worthwhile. And then you start getting in the habit of it. Do you find yourself...
Yeah, before champ all the time. And then lately, ever since I moved out here and started the pod and start my grind and the weight loss, even with everything, I feel like when you do talk yourself out of it, it fuels the anxiety, it fuels the depression, because then you're sitting there with the same thoughts that you had on top of things not getting done. So lately for me, with my depression and anxiety, whenever I'm going through moments of being sad, I'm like, okay, Schmidt, do something that needs to get done and stay busy. And that helps big time. And then even sometimes Jobin's sleep. If it's late at night and you're in your head and you're just kind of sad, go to bed and start the next day fresh and work on the tasks that you need to get done.
Jay, what about you? When you're trying, do you ever feel that inner bitch come in? Because you don't really do much of the weed. And I think the weed for a lot of people, younger people, lower 20s, is the problem. They start feeling that little bit of anxiety because they're bored or a little bit, and they just take a bong rip.
They've probably never had like that much success in anything yet because they're young. Mm-hmm. So they're still learning that.
Yeah.
So it hasn't really paid off yet.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think. I think like from jiu-jitsu, it taught me just being consistent. Like the years of, even when I do go through like little humps, like when I do have like a bad week or even month of training where I just feel like shit, I just keep showing up and keep pushing through. And I mean, I get over it eventually, but yeah, sometimes I do, like when you're about to hop in the cold, I've had days where I tell myself, okay, I'm gonna go in there, but then I don't do it, but then I'll go back and do it. Mm-hmm. So sometimes it does, but for the most part, I feel like I do a good job at countering it.
Yeah. I've been pussing out on the cold plunge. I still, since we got back from Abu Dhabi, I mean, it's cold here now. So it's what, 50 in the nights?
Colder. It's been like 40s.
40s in the night. So it's like, oh, I just need to, I mean, still that fucking inner bitch gets me sometimes. 100%. So the new Priuses, Jay sent me the new Priuses and they're looking nice. You thinking about getting one, Jay?
I think they're just like concepts. I don't think it's actually real.
I think it might be real.
Really?
Yeah, I saw another article.
They look sick though, huh? They
Fuck
look like
yeah.
Teslas, bro.
That's what's sweet about those.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they look
That's
sick.
what's sweet about the Priuses is like if you want to put gas in, you can. It's not a big deal. Or it can stay
You have
hybrid.
to.
Yeah.
You have to
I'm
put
sure like
gas
the
in.
new ones, they'll make them electronic too.
Yeah, they might. Well, that was a nice thing about the Prius is that it used way less gas, but you didn't have to plug it in. Like I drove a lot, like 500 miles a week, easy, and the whole tank would last me the week
Yeah, same.
for like $20.
Yeah, I talked to other people with different cars, and they're like, "Dude, I have to fill up my car like 3 times a week." I'm like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
Now I'll probably fill it up like every week and a half or 2 weeks, maybe.
Do you always have yours in kind of the sport mode or the get up mode?
I didn't even know I had a sports mode. I just drive it.
Just put along.
Yeah.
I kept mine in the sport mode, the fast mode.
I don't
all
think
the
mine
time.
has sports mode.
His might be older. I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I've been in Kyler's. I think Kyler's does have sports mode.
Yeah, I mean, with that Prius, I'd fucking just be getting on it all the time. So I don't know how good a gas I did on it. Schmidt, if you could have your dream, I know JX's dream car is a G-Wagon.
Yeah, I just like the aesthetic. But then now thinking about it, I don't know if I'd want it to be my daily driver, but who knows?
Yeah.
Because I was talking to Emron, and Emron said they're uncomfortable.
Well, Sean and I rode in one. They're just super blocky in there.
You're just like this?
They're as comfy as they look.
So they're
comfy.
not?
Yeah, they're just blocky. It's kind of crammed.
Whenever I get it, I'm like, all right, I don't want this shit anymore.
Yeah. If your dream car, Schmitty, any car you want.
It would be, I guess, a Tesla. Those the new one that Sean has.
That X.
Yeah, dude,
The X
because
with the
they're
plaid.
just so nice, so comfy.
Yeah.
And I'm not a big car guy. Like that would if the Tesla, but then I'm hearing all these things about Teslas that I don't really know about. I'm like, how are they going to be in the future, and then how easy is it? Because I hear you guys, you got your plug-ins, but everyone who doesn't have Teslas is like, how do I get here? How do I get there? And I know they got like maps or something that kind of point out the direction you can take, right? Like if you go on a trip.
If you don't have a plug-in at your house, I wouldn't get a Tesla.
Yeah.
Fuck that. That would be too big of a pain in the ass.
Right.
But God, Elon gets a little crazy on Twitter. I'm like, damn, someone like him who has complete control over everything. I wonder where Tesla will be in a few years. Because
right.
It's hard to say. Who knows? But it's nice. Did you see Elon's bringing back Donald Trump? Brought the top G back on
the
Twitter.
vote. Yeah, everyone.
They're
He was
on.
like, I'll let you guys vote.
I don't think Trump's officially on yet, but
I thought he said he wasn't going to go back on, even if they let him,
oh really?
because he wants to promote his own platform.
Oh. Okay, what do we got in the MMA news? UFC wants to do Jon Jones return against Francis Ngannou at UFC 285 March 4th. If Ngannou is not ready by this date, then Curtis Blaydes will face Jon Jones. Fuck. I don't know why Curtis Blaydes is in the running. I like Curtis. I'm a fan of Curtis, but I'm like, that's not really a huge fight. And it's kind of a dangerous fight because Curtis is so big and such an athletic wrestler. I mean, damn, I'm surprised they wouldn't set up Jon Jones and Stipe. Something that's just a banger.
How crazy would it be if Curtis beat Jones?
It's possible.
I know.
Easily.
At
He's so
heavyweight?
huge. Yeah.
It's kind of one, and dude, Curtis is one of those guys that people just kind of shit on or pass by. He's really good. The uppercut from Derek was an uppercut from hell that would have put anyone out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then he's only lost to Francis and Derek. So I think that would be really interesting. I kind of like the styles make matchups there, and I think that's one of them that would be kind of interesting.
Mm-hmm. This is from MMAfighting.com. Artem Lobov sues Conor McGregor for millions over Proper 12 whiskey deal. So I wonder what kind of deal Artem had with it. According to the Irish Independent, Lobov is suing McGregor for millions, alleging that he was a pivotal in developing McGregor's Proper number 12 Irish whiskey that McGregor sold a majority stake in for $600 million in 2021. Lobov reportedly claims that for his efforts in creating Proper 12, he has an agreement that entitles him to 5% of the money. 5% of the money? What's 5% of $600 million? 10% is $6 million, so that's $3 million. Damn. My client is a retired professional fighter with a master's degree from DCU in finance and capital markets, Lobov's attorney, Dermot Dermott said, we have issued high court proceedings in his behalf to enforce an agreement with Mcgregor regarding the number 12 whiskey brand. My client was the initial creator and co-founder of the concept to launch an Irish whiskey brand. In response, McGregor's representatives refuted the claims as incorrect. Proper 12 whiskey was created, developed, branded, and tirelessly promoted by Conor McGregor. McGregor and Lobov were once friends. Damn, that sucks. That's the way it goes, though. I mean, that's where you got to... When money starts coming into it and you have ideas with your friends and it's just like... Then a lot of money comes in and this friend thinks he's entitled to this money. That's where it gets fucking hairy, dude. That's where it gets tough.
It's sad.
Yeah.
Because I don't think I'd ever, to be honest, I don't see you and Sean ever being like that. You guys have such a good, strong mentality and relationship with each other. You always thought Conor and Artem did, but...
Yeah, I mean, you got to just put the friendship first and not let just... I mean, it's easier said than done. Because if Artem actually did help him with that whiskey, he's like, dude, it's 5%. Like, I'm over here fucking having no pennies. It says, I was the person who came up with the idea to do a whiskey for Conor, Lobov said. I said to him, before you even look any further about vodka, here's what I know about Irish whiskey. I told him about my presentation from college. I told him about the dominance of Irish whiskey and all that. He said, you go off and see what deal you can put together. And I went on my way. I went on and met all different whiskey distilleries. I called some and met some in person. I did my research and put a beautiful deal together. Once the deal was ready, I went to Conor and said, Conor, I have a deal ready for you. This is going to be $1 billion deal. No messing here. I'm not sure if he took me seriously or not at the time with the $1 billion. Conor offered me $1 million, but I turned it down. I didn't accept it. You know, throughout my career, whenever I've helped Conor with camps, he offered to pay me for camps, but I never accepted money from him. With the substantially more than $1 million at stake, Lobov appears to have changed his mind. The 36-year-old Lobov retired from combat sports in 2021. I'm surprised Lobov didn't go about it different and just take Conor. Hey, Conor, do you think I could... And I'm sure Conor would have flipped him some ched.
I feel like emotions got in with Artem. Because if you're going to deny it all the time when he's offering it to you and then bring it up in a deal moment and be upset about things in the past that you chose on your own. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So that's kind of a shame.
Yeah, that is a shame, isn't it? 31-year-old Walmart manager kills 10 employees and customers during his shift in Chesapeake, huh?
What?
Jesus. Crazy shit going on out there. All right, we'll hit a couple questions from Patreon. Remember, on patreon.com/redhawkacademy, do usually one solo pod a week. And then I'm always answering the messages on there. There's content going up there all the time. Full breakdown of the Peter Yan versus Sean fight, of me watching it and pausing it and showing where Sean went wrong and the mistakes we need to fix, and showing where Peter went wrong and the mistakes he made. But I'm going to keep doing stuff like that. And now we're doing giveaways every month. Giveaways every month, giving away some sweet shit, memorabilia, and more. So this question comes from Shame Lou. Timbo and Mariah, been with my girl 8 years, living together for 1. Tips on keeping things fresh and exciting and not getting caught up in your day-to-day routines. That's the thing, when you start living with someone, you're always seeing them all day. You get used to living with someone. The girl maybe stops getting sexy for the guy and just scrubs out all the time, and you guys fuck, and it's just like, how do you keep it fresh and exciting and not get caught up in your day-to-day routines? One thing that helped you, I think, is that Sex with Emily podcast.
Yeah, that's super helpful. And then just...
Because what does she talk about on that?
Just a bunch of different things.
And, like, things that are kind of frowned upon, but she really just doesn't give a fuck, and she just talks about it. I mean...
Not really frowned upon, but no one talks about it. Like, no one really teaches you about sex. Like, you have sex in school, but they don't really teach you about it.
Pornhub does.
No, not really, because that's not real life. And she has, like, people that call in and ask questions, and she answers it, and then has different ideas, like questions like that. And she'll, like, give ideas. And
give advice on how to kind of spice things up, maybe try new things together.
Yeah, definitely. Like, try new things together, or go on a date night would be good, because then you get dressed up and remember, like, why you guys like each other. Or just remember to be grateful, or, like, when you go do new things, you can see that person through other people's eyes, and you remember, like, why you fell in love with them, or like, you see them for who they are, because you see them every day, or we're running a business, so, like, there's a lot of other things now. It's not just like seeing each other once in a while, like before you live together.
Yeah. That is weird. She said going out so you see the person as other people. Because, yeah, you go out with your partner and they're sexy. All these guys are going to be looking at her like just fresh meat. And then you go home and you get to give her the pipe down.
Yeah. Or like if you guys are like talking, like someone's talking or like you're always really funny and obviously I'm around you all the time. But like if I see that from like a different, like someone else's eyes, like I'll be laughing and be like, oh yeah, like I forget how funny you are. It's just something like that.
Yeah.
And
get
like
you horned up.
Esther Burrell will say like, you want safety in your relationship, but it's hard to have like the safety and the eroticism all in one. So you have to create it. Like you both have to work on it and create it.
So you ever, I mean, imagine Schmitty living with a girl. Well, that'd be
Basically did for a while because
you?
Every day we were with each other.
But living there.
No, not
like,
living. No.
You got. I mean, you got someone's doing the dishes, someone's cleaning up.
Yeah, it'd be nice. It would be really nice.
It's
what
nice
Schmitty
until
wants.
it's not nice.
Yeah, well, that's why, from my view, you got to keep it fresh and always make sure you're keeping on the same page at all times with everything, and definitely keep it in fresh because if things get stale and stagnant and you get into that stuck in that same old routine, it's when time just passes.
So you think when you have a cute girlfriend, you live with her for how many years to where it just starts to get stale a little bit?
Dude, the way my life's going right now, life is beautiful, dude. And there's so much to do and see. And just to have someone with a journey, someone I get along with, someone that I love, that loves me, and that we love each other for each other, same mindset, someone else that has goals and aspirations. There's so much to do in this life. And life is so short.
What were some complications you ran into, JX, when you started living with your partner? Just privacy? What kind of shit?
Yeah, I think looking back, I'm very I like my personal space, you know. And when we were living even like in a studio or one bed, it was just like I felt like it wasn't enough room, and also you're together a lot, and you don't have that you know when you go and do your own hobbies, like. I mean, I would, but it would be like for an hour, then come back, and now you're just hanging out all day. And like, I think there needs to be space, at least for me. Like, I enjoy my like personal space, like just being alone. So when I don't get that, I get kind of like
a little edgy,
a little irritated. Yeah, just kind of. And I don't know if I'm just assuming, but I'm always like, damn, do they want to do something? Like, do they want to be entertained or something? When I just want to be chilling, watching a movie.
Yeah.
Or just like I'm a big homebody too.
You can chill.
Yeah,
I can chill too.
Yeah.
Communicate that, Jay.
Yeah, but then you communicate that, and then they come back with something you don't expect. It's like the communication isn't easy.
If you haven't communicated, like, hey, sometimes I need some personal space, and you've been in a relationship for a long time, damn, that's tough.
But that might hurt their feelings. Then they're going to start crying and you hurt their feelings. And then you're going to go on another talk.
And then is your blood sugar low and then you explode. Yeah. You start.
Well, it just sounds like you need someone that's like you, like who's someone who also enjoys their personal space. Because your balance is everything. If you're with someone too much, yeah, we're all going to be like that.
Yeah. I think you do have to give each other space and do your own thing. And that'll make you like happy to see each other for the day. And there's days that you're going to spend more time with each other and days you're not going to spend time with each other. And then when you get together at night and eat dinner together, and then you're grateful for that. And I think it's important to stay grateful, like even little things as like doing something nice, like do the dishes or just doing little things and be like, oh my God, thank you so much, and say thank you.
Yeah, that you know they'll appreciate it and then not take things for granted that they do, for sure. I mean, for us, I think we've worked out for so long because we both have our own passions and stuff. And you've been riding horses now for how long?
Pretty much my whole life, since I was 3.
And then when did you start like doing professional barrel races?
When I was like 23, probably 24.
So you've had some serious fucking spills. And a lot of times when you go out and ride, I'm like, God, if she dies, then that's how she'd probably prefer to die. So at least we got that going. But dude, it's fucking.
I never thought of
those are 1,000-pound animals that just throw people off, trample them around, just like all the time. And you've came home with some fucking pretty bad injuries. But
I've been lucky. I really haven't been hurt that much. I've been bucked off hard a few times, but I haven't been like never broke a bone or anything. I mean, Rabbit smacked me in the face and gave me a black eye, and my last buck off was my 3-year-old, and then I sold him, but my leg was really bad.
And probably with jiu-jitsu, like when you do get bucked off, it's probably made you a little bit more athletic with your body to be able to catch yourself and stuff.
Oh yeah, jiu-jitsu's helped my riding even a ton.
Oh, I bet, with strength and just kind of balance.
Oh, for sure. Super a lot. Because those horses, people don't realize, like, you're going really fast, and then they slow down fast, and they leave those turns fast, and you have to stay with them. And all of that's helped. Or even just, like, with my horses, I always have to rely on them. Like, you're only as good as the horse you ride. Like, it's them, but you have to keep them good. But jiu-jitsu, it's me.
Yeah.
And so that's been a nice balance and a change, and it's made me like take some pressure off myself too with barrel racing. So I think that's been helpful too.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing about barrel racing, because I've always told you, I'm like, the work ethic and the discipline you have with those things and how good you are and how passionate you are about those horses. In any other sport you were doing, you'd probably be a champion and it'd be paying off. The thing with horses, it's like it's not always what you do. It's about getting a fast horse. So that's what kind of bugs me a little bit about the sport is a rich person can go in there and have a lot of success just because they're rich. Maybe they know how to ride horses a little bit, but they're really fucking loaded, so they can afford a $500,000 horse and then make it to the NFR compared to someone like you who's been.
They can and can't. The money definitely helps, but there's tons of girls that make it that don't have money. But just because you do have money doesn't mean you can ride those horses. But it does help with a lot. The horses are expensive, and that does help. But I feel like I've worked really hard to get the horses that I have now, and they're what I've always wanted, my dream.
Yeah, and that's what's kind of like, that's a reason too. We're not in a rush to have a kid. Like, oh, let's have a kid because we need something to do. We need something to focus on. We need something. Like, we got our shit we're focusing on.
Yeah.
I really wish you would do a channel. Because everything you just said is because it takes so much to do what you do. And me being around you, unless you talk about it, I would have no clue.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you're a badass for that. And you do a lot. There's a lot in that horse racing world that would be really cool to watch. That I think and on top of that, with your jiu-jitsu world and everything else you got going on, I think it'd be a pretty fun channel.
I mean, it's just like anything else. That's why I wish there was the belting system more in other things. Like, she would be a black belt in horses.
That'd be cool.
Or barrel racing and training horses, and you've had good mentors who are professionals and made it to the highest level. So
maybe a saddle instead of a belt. Like, I'm a 4-stripe blue saddle.
Yeah, seriously.
Oh, that's funny.
Okay, here another question by this one here is by Conor. Where do you see yourself in 10 years? 10 years, I'd be 42 years old. God, it's just so hard to look that far ahead because you don't know who's going to come into your life. You don't know what kind of things are going to happen to put you in a completely different direction. You just don't know. So it's hard for me to look at a 10-year goal. But if I think about it, I would just be like, hopefully in 10 years, I'm just still able to stay consistent with my good habits. Because if I'm consistent with my good habits for years, there's no way I'm going to end up in a really shitty spot, I guess. You never see anyone. I mean, someone who's disciplined, someone who's constantly disciplined, they're always going to go somewhere in life. They're not going to just be fucking losers. If you're just a loser out there, you got to just blame yourself because you don't have discipline in some area. Where do you see yourself in 10 years, Schmidt?
Right now, 10 years is a long time, champ. So I got my main things that I would look at that 10 years. So I want to be healthy. I would like to have my podcast more successful than it is now, so in order to reach those, I'm doing it. Like, I look at like even a month or just on a weekly, like, what am I going to do? What do I do this week to make sure my goals stay consistent? I need to get better with, there's everything, everyone, even you, you're really good at, but there's something that you can have more discipline in.
100%.
You know what I mean?
100%.
Because I'm proud of myself with me and Brendan with our podcast. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We every week it's our goal to get a pod up, and that's just my goal. I do it every week, and I'm just saying it. But it's fun to me. I love it,
That's the
And-
thing about all the shit we do here in this group. A lot of the shit where we work hard, but it's all stuff we kind of like to do.
Right? It makes it that much better.
Jay, what about you? 10 years?
10 years.
That would make you 36?
38.
38 years old.
Yeah, I'm 28 right now. Just probably still like doing something creative. I don't know.
Couple kids?
Maybe, yeah, probably. 2 little Mexican
Couple
babies.
little shit?
2 little spoiled brats.
That I get to train in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, 38. I wonder, like, I always think about that. At what age are we gonna still like roll hard? You
Yeah.
plan on rolling hard? Like, I don't think I want to roll hard at 48
Well, at our gym,
or 38. Sorry.
At our gym, we start
not
from the
that old.
feet. If you're getting a scrap, you guys get in a scenario, and then we're both neutral, which means we're both on our feet. We still go hard from there. We wrestle hard, pull guard hard. But eventually, it might have to change. For the young bucks coming in, we kind of keep it at that speed. For the older people, it's like, no, you start from your knees, and I start from my butt. And you start from your butt, I'll start from my knees, and just kind of slow it down a little bit. Slow down the wrestling, slow down the takedowns. Eventually, we're going to have to do that. Which it'll still be fun, still be competitive, but taking away a lot of the takedowns and slams and throws and stuff will probably be a lot of it.
I put in my hours, young buck.
Yes.
Yeah, probably just still doing something creative. I'm sure jiu-jitsu is still going to be in my life. So
Black belt.
100%.
yeah, for sure.
10 years for you, Mariah?
Yeah, I just hope we're just doing the same thing. I love our life, and hopefully we'll have a little baby by then.
Mm-hmm.
By 35.
Yeah. We'll see about that. Ass or tits? Ass or tits from Booch's G. What's your favorite thing?
Boobies.
So a nice little flat ass?
Don't bother me.
Really?
Don't bother me. And to be honest, if small titties don't bother me either, I love titties. Titties are titties.
I'm not, I mean, just like,
It
Are
don't
we
bother me. If I find a girl cute, I find her cute. if I find her cute, she's got beautiful eyes. Holy shit, because I'm an eye guy. When you got beautiful eyes,
yep.
I just want to look into them.
Are you an ass or tits guy, Jay? You kind of like the kind of...
I kind of like just like the fit type body, like, but if I had to pick, probably ass. I don't know if I could, like, I think
Just a sagger.
I always think about that, like, yo, like big tits is cool, but when you're older, how's that gonna look? You know?
Yeah.
I always think of that far ahead, but I mean, obviously, like, you think like just when you're pounding it.
Yeah. Yep,
But I'm
yep.
thinking like, okay, like, do I want to be with her, like, type shit, you know?
Yeah,
That's what
for
goes through my mind.
Well, if you love her and are with her, you won't really care back like down the road.
And also, if you love her and you're with her, maybe you could teach her some weightlifting, and then maybe her butt, she could start getting some muscle on her butt and start teaching her some
Oh,
proper
I used to have
shit.
the flattest butt ever.
And
No
you've been
butt.
Very disciplined and worked very hard.
Yeah.
Did you really?
Oh yeah.
And what, just squats in it? Because I have no ass.
No, I had literally like.
Oh, you got a perky little butt on you.
Dude, I have no, it's bone straight.
mine too.
No, I know it is.
Yeah,
I need-
squats. Lots
Squats?
of squats.
I need to get an ass.
I've been doing these workouts that are free on YouTube, and they've been kicking my butt.
Yeah, Schmidt, you got to start lifting.
'Cause
You heard-
girls love ass.
You heard the science from Dan Garner right there.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be better than walking on the treadmill. And really, the sauna, I mean, I think the sauna is good for you, but I wouldn't consider that working out.
Oh, I know. I just love the sauna.
Just getting in there and getting
Yeah.
hot.
I
Yeah.
just love being in there.
Yeah. So, we get a lot of questions. I mean, there was over almost 50 questions, and I answered them all.
We should do a little something like, what are we thankful for? It's a little Thanksgiving pod. Let's do some things we're thankful for.
Dude, I'm always it's so easy for me to be thankful because I've been fucking hurt so much in my life.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, dude, I'm thankful for being able to just fucking talk and just thankful being able to eat and thankful being having. I have too much to be thankful for.
Right?
I have fucking too much. That's never an issue for me.
Yeah.
Being ungrateful and just like feeling bad for myself because
Maybe someone needs to hear it, though.
we
You know
got
what I
we
mean?
got people like Kyle around us who are battling serious shit. Like when we were in Tijuana, we're seeing people battle serious shit. It's like, dude, if you got 2 arms, you got 2 legs, they work, and you can see and you can taste and you can hear. I'm like, you should be fucking very grateful. That's
I agree.
plenty to be grateful for. Just having your fucking health.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that. Like when I was sick the last couple weeks, and everybody's been getting sick, and once you're sick, and you're just like, I would do anything to feel better. So I think like health is number one.
Oh, yeah, easily. And it takes you getting hurt, getting fucked up to realize it a lot of the times.
It's a reminder. Like getting sick, you're like, oh, yeah. So now when I'm healthy, I'm not gonna just like not train or not work out or not do the things I need to get done because right now I can't.
Yeah, I mean, and not being able to train, I've had to. I mean, I got a lot of my happiness and just peace from being able to train hard and push hard and get tired and get to a point where I want to quit and not quit. I get a lot of happiness from that. So not being able to train for fucking a long time,
Almost
actually
6
train,
months.
yeah, for a long ass time has been like, God. I mean, I got two options. I can either be a bitch about it and pout about it and talk about it every chance I get, or I can say, I'm going to take that energy and I'm going to put that energy in some other shit. Maybe my YouTube, maybe my gyms, maybe other businesses, and take that energy and put it in there and just accept it. That's what real fucking stoicism is. I think it's called like amor fati, AMORFATI. Just accepting what happens to you and loving it. Truly doing that. So it's easier said than done. But I think it helps. But like I said, if you're fucking healthy out there, you got a lot to be thankful for.
What are you guys grateful for?
Jay?
Ooh.
Pretty much same thing. I feel like I've been through a lot of shit in my life where when I, like, from even just having a bed or even just having somewhere to lay my head at, you know, I've had times where I don't have anywhere to sleep or no car or nothing. Now when I do have a car, I'm like, oh shit, I'm super grateful. Or like when I go buy food, I'm like super grateful for that. Same thing. Even when like you get sick, you're like, fuck, I just want to be healthy again. Mm-hmm. So just like little shit, you know, I'm pretty good at like remembering to be grateful, you know?
Yeah. And having a good perspective. And it's just like, I'm so thankful and there is people that come from a lot of money and come from just comfortableness all the time. But I'm so thankful to not have come from that and have parents that were pretty poor, but still good parents. Because I bet you it's hard. I mean, you get born rich, everything's fucking Gucci, and you have a brand new fucking sports car, and you don't even have to work for that sports car at all. You don't have to work for any of that thing. I could see how you'd get pretty fucking anxious and depressed, and you're just like, God, what else is there? Oh, and then you take a drug, or you take an oxy, or you take something, you're like, ugh, now I'm finally numb, and I feel something. So I'm thankful to not come from a lot of money, I guess.
Well, your struggles, like, that's where you learn a lot. Or when the bad things happen, that's what make you grateful. And even to get out of a funk, like when I was sick for those 2 weeks, I'm like, as soon as I woke up, I was like, 5 things I'm grateful for. And that like really changed my mind because I was just getting pissed that I was just still sick. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I don't know. I think you have to teach your kids like the gratitude, even if you're rich or stuff, then that's going to help a lot. Just being thankful for those. But like they always say, the hardest thing that's ever happened to you is the hardest thing that's ever happened to you. So that they don't know big struggles.
Yeah. Danny Mosquito, what are your thoughts on smashing a MILF that's married with 3 kids, Schmidt? You smashing or feeling guilty and not doing it?
Just because she has 3 kids?
Married with 3 kids.
Oh, married. Yeah, no, I feel guilty if she was married. If she didn't tell me and I didn't know.
She takes you in the back of Sprouts. She said, Schmidt, I'm married. Let me suck your juice.
I'd feel too bad for the other guy.
And you'd say no.
Yeah.
I smell a little cap in the room.
I mean, do you want to try and no, dude? Married won't like.
And you're horned
girl.
up. You're 3 days in, and she's like, just fuck me, Schmidt.
So I'm hanging out with her for a couple days.
No, back of Sprouts.
I've just met her.
And she's just like, fuck
it's
me.
so easy for me to say no to that. I just met her. I'd be like, lady, are you fucking on drugs?
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
That'd be a funny prank to do.
Oh my
Just see if they go
God.
through with it.
That would be.
99% of guys would go through it, including Schmidt.
Give me a month or 2 months to forget about this whole conversation. Let's see, baby.
Yeah, I
Let's
guarantee
see.
you're fucking her.
She's like, I got a husband, but I'll fuck your brains out right
Yeah.
now. I'm saying no.
Bullshit.
We'll see.
God.
I feel bad, dude. I'd be like, damn, why are you cheating on your husband? Why don't you go solve that shit and get
And
your
she
shit
says,
taken
shut
care
up,
of?"
bitch. Fuck me. And then what?
Like, are you just that unhappy? Are you really unhappy?
She says, shut up. What are the main challenges you face in your day-to-day lives? I mean, I got a bunch of random fucking small challenges. All the issues I'm dealing with are so small compared to Pablo Escobar. That motherfucker had some issues. I mean, who knows how true that whole show is, but I'm like, holy. And the fact that you're saying he was a good guy, he's not a good guy. 0%. He's the fucking devil.
I'm sure the real Pablo Escobar in real life was terrifying compared to the show. The show makes you sympathize with him.
So I bet you'd think different of him if he fucking murdered your mom and dad and brother and sister and didn't give a fuck. I bet you'd be like, fuck that guy.
Kill this man.
But now you're like, no, he's a pretty good guy.
Yeah, because, when you're watching the show, I'm not putting myself with the victims. I'm putting myself with Pablo Escobar and why he made these decisions. So that's kind of the show's fault.
Did you guys watch?
Oh, I watched it years. I watched this when it was coming out.
Yeah. I watched it a while ago too.
Yeah.
The Mexico one's pretty good too.
It is.
Yeah, I'm
really good.
That's what we were talking about. I'm like, well, it's easy because like in the show, you're like, no, Pablo and his wife and his kids. I'm like, but when like random someone dies on the street, you don't know them.
Yeah.
But if you put yourself in that scenario, it's crazy all the people he killed.
Oh yeah. The plane was bad. When he blew up the plane, that was pretty bad.
Or when the one we watched last night, they just put the car by like where everyone was shopping and it was like back to school.
Yep. Oh yeah.
God.
So hold on. So what season are you guys in?
2.
2. Okay. Yeah. God, that show. I would love to. There's shows that I wish I could just wipe from my memory and go watch again for the first time because that's one of them.
Yeah.
It's such a
You'd
good
probably
show.
catch more stuff the second time though.
Yeah.
Because you have to read the subtitles.
I love that.
I did like it too.
Yeah.
We were talking about that because I'm like, it actually makes you pay attention.
Yeah.
Because if something else is playing, it's easy to like get on your computer, get on your phone, or like get up and go do something. But you have to pay attention or you miss it.
And then once like 20 minutes goes by, you don't even realize you're doing it and watching the show at the same time.
Yeah, I like it too.
Except for guys like Tim. You know what I mean?
If he's too high, he gets lost. He's like, wait, what happened?
Yeah, it is hard. But reading the subtitles does try to, I'm like, I got to focus.
Yeah, he actually, it's hard for him to get into a show, but with reading the subtitles, and he's stayed in really good with this show.
Discipline,
I'm curious
baby.
to how much, though, like, we have, how many seasons left?
1.
A
Well, we're in
full season less. I'm like, God, if this keeps keeping up and he just doesn't get caught for like 10 more episodes, like,
it gets better.
All right. Don't tell me. Don't spill on me. Don't spill on me.
no spoilers.
No spoilers. So, JX, when's your next show coming out on your YouTube?
I'm trying to upload it. It's taking forever. Hopefully today. If not, I'm trying to figure out like a schedule. But this week for sure.
You guys got some good fast Wi-Fi set up?
Yeah, at home we do. But last night I was at a niece's and her Wi-Fi.
Trash.
Yeah, basically. I was gonna tell you too. There's like a local, not a local legend, Jesus Malverde. He's like a bandit too.
Bandito.
But if you look into him, like people pray to him now and stuff. It's pretty. You should look into his story.
What did he do?
I think he just. I was trying to read more information because there's people that really like.
What was his name?
They have shrines of him and
Like
shit
they
at
did a
home.
Pablo.
Yeah. I don't think he was like killing people though.
Jesus what?
Malverde, Malverde. You should look into him. He was a bandit too. But his story seems pretty interesting. Like,
he was referred to as the generous bandit, angel of the poor, or the narco saint. He was Spanish heritage. He's a Robin Hood figure who was supposed to have stolen from the rich to give to the poor. He's celebrated as a folk saint by some in Mexico and in the United States, particularly among drug traffickers.
like a lot of drug dealers, like they like look up to this guy too, and
Oh, wow.
or like they'll pray to him and shit, you know.
But he was part of the Narcos?
I don't know the exact
No.
story. I don't know if I think he just like stole from the rich, like a modern day Robin Hood type
Well, that's
shit.
kind of how Pablo started. That's what they called him, right? And
Yeah,
that's why
yeah.
the people liked him so much.
But you can see like there's pictures of
That's crazy.
just like shrines and shit in people's homes of him.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I was trying to tell Tim about Pablo is once he started making so much money and doing all this and America saw, they kind of stepped in and his hand was kind of forced on some things. But I know he did bad things, but it's like, imagine had the U.S. not got all like jealous and wanting a piece of the pie and like, what the fuck?
Then he would have took over everything.
I know.
And then who knows? You
Who
got to
knows?
stop him somewhere.
Yeah.
You got to.
His
you can't let a
country-
guy go like that.
Yeah. They were dealing with hardcore poverty. They're fucked.
Mm-hmm.
And here came this guy with all the money that could change everybody's lives.
But
And America's like,
how's he making that money?
I know.
By
And how
shipping
much is
drugs
that
here.
money killing people?
Over here in America, just fucking us up.
Yeah, so it's
And
like,
then when that woman did they were putting it up in their vaginas and shit. And
Killed the pregnant girl.
Oh God, that was terrifying. And so sad.
Super.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm sorry. He's not a good person, no, but I feel like the way the show is, there was a little part of him that was a family man and could have had good morals.
Yeah, he loved his family and he'd do anything for his family. Like there's good parts of everybody.
Right.
So.
Okay, we'll do some fight picks here for the December 3rd card, and then we'll wrap it up. Stephen Thompson versus Kevin Holland. I think Kevin Holland's going to beat him. Stephen Thompson's getting up there in age. Kevin Holland's just big, fucking long too, and just scrappier. I feel like Kevin Holland might get the job done, but we'll see. Brian Barberena versus Rafael dos Anjos. Damn, Rafael dos Anjos is 31-14. Brian Barberena 18-8. Southpaw versus Southpaw. I think Brian's the most durable motherfucker. Like, he's probably one of my favorite dudes to watch fighting, which is crazy because we were teammates for a long time and we're really good friends, but I love watching this kid fight. I think he might rough up Dos Anjos.
When was the last time RDA fought?
I don't know.
I feel like it's been a while. And Brian's been pretty consistent.
Yeah, I mean, not super consistent.
He just fought
Robbie Lawler. Dos Anjos fought Fazeev and got KO'd July 9th, 2022.
Oh, wow.
And he was on a 2-fight win streak before that against Paul Felder and Renato Moicano.
I totally forgot about that fight. Wow.
Yeah, me too. And then, so I'm going to pick Brian Barberena on that, probably by decision. Hey, what up, Brad?
I'm going to go RDA, submission.
No.
I'm going to be wild.
What would he submit him in? A fucking guillotine or something?
Yeah, you're right. It's going to be brawl.
Tai Tuivasa versus Sergey Pavlovich. That's a big fucking dude. That's a big dude. 6'2", 257, and he's thick. Fucking thick. Tai Tuivasa could crack you with any shot. It's so hard with the heavyweights to pick, dude. Especially explosive heavyweights, 4-ounce gloves. It's like someone's getting KO'd anytime. Whoever shows up on that day, gonna probably take it. And then on the prelims, anything special? Nico Price, Philip Rowe. It's a pretty good fight. Nico Price is a scrappy, fucking crazy dude. I think he's got like 6 kids. Philip Rowe, super tall guy. I trained with him way back in the day. It'll probably be a good fight. Good scrap there. And then Clay Guida, Scott Holtzman. Scott Holtzman's a good athlete. He's getting up there in age now, 40 years old, I think, or 39. Fighting Clay Guida, who's also up there. I think Scott Holtzman's going to be too big of an athlete, too big, too strong, too well-rounded. I think he might beat up Clay Guida. Damn, Michael Johnson still. Michael Johnson, 21-18 versus Mark Diakisi. Good scrap there. We'll see. And then Jonathan Pierce, another one we've had on the pod. 13-4 versus Darren Elkins. Darren Damage Elkins, 27-10. Good scrap there. I think Jonathan Pierce is going to be able to keep up with his wrestling and keep up with his pace and just scrap the whole time. So I'm going to pick JP on that. And then other than that, that's all she got. So, guys, if you like the pod and you enjoy it, we have a bunch of other bangers on the page. So please subscribe. Every Thursday, we're coming out with a new podcast. So hit the subscribe button. We're almost at 30,000 subscribers, and I'm pumped. What do you say, Jim?
Did you see about Gilbert Burns versus Neil Magny? It's in the works for UFC 283. Who do you think would win that?
I like Neil Magny. He's a nice guy. I think Gilbert might fuck him up.
Really? Yeah.
Neil, it's weird because, I mean, you grab him. We trained with him a little bit before. You grab him and he's got small waist. He's not super strong. I think his biggest strength, he's got good cardio and he's got good output and he's a tall, big guy. But I think Gilbert Burns is he's just elite as fuck. He fucking cracks hard. He's a world champion on the ground. So if it gets on the ground, Gilbert's going to run through him. So I just don't know. I can't see really Neil winning that fight. Sick fight, though. It's just a main event?
I don't think so. Not for UFC 283, no.
So 3-rounder too. So
yeah.
I'd probably pick Gilbert Burners. So other than that, today I'm going to teach the gi class and then no gi class. And I think I got a couple guys sparring here in a little bit. I'll probably go home and stream right after this. Tomorrow's Thanksgiving. Well, today's Thanksgiving since this just came out. And then we'll do a competition training on Friday and then open mat and then enjoy the weekend. So hope you guys enjoy the show. Patreon.com/redhawkrecap. Like I said, if you want to support the show even more and then get a ton more content, doing giveaways every month there, extra pod a week there. And I'm just always throwing up content on there. So check it out and enjoy. Check out Brendan Schmitty's show.
Thank you, Cap. Thanks for having me on.
Check out Jack Soto's page. So, all right. Thanks for coming on, everyone. Enjoy Thanksgiving. Love you all.
Doses.
Bye-bye. One second, Jay. There we go. Let's get out of here on a good note, ladies and gentlemen. Love y'all. Let's go fuck that turkey up. Bye-bye.